comfortable with English. The best way is, do you all have access to the internet? Can you, you know, when you get to the point, in a couple of days we'll start using the internet, and we'll use YouTube so we can hear English spoken, and you can hear the sounds of it and you know, just what the language sounds like. And also what I think I would like to do is, I think a good way is to read the newspaper together.
Newspaper?
Yeah, and because when we read the newspaper together, we already know what's going on. So that it will be easier to make sense out of the words because we'll understand. And a lot of the people that I have studied about who learned a second language, yeah, they learned their second language by reading newspapers and conversing as much as possible. The grammar of English gets very, very complicated, and we won't concern ourselves really with the grammar because that's not so important to a person who just wants to speak and read and write. But what we will try to practice is phrases, vocabulary, the words that we use in everyday conversation. And so we're going to use the newspaper a lot, and maybe some stories. Do you like to read stories?
Short stories.
Short stories? Do you like poetry? Do you like to read poetry?
Teacher, you know, in the past.
Have you read?
Former teachers taught about the newspaper, but I think it is difficult for us because the some word, some vocabulary is different from the vocabulary in the dictionary, different in the meaning.
Yeah. Well, and I think Thai is the same way. The same word in English can have different meanings, multiple meanings. And so in order to know what the word means, you have to read the words that are around it. You have to read the whole sentence and grasp the meaning of the whole sentence before you know the special meaning of the word. We call that context. Context. In order to understand the meaning of the whole sentence, you have to understand what is said before that sentence and what is said after that sentence.
You mean if I don't understand the meaning of the every word, I can guess what.
You can get it by you can get it by understanding the overall meaning of the sentence. We'll try some exercises like that, and you'll see what I mean. I'll show you. I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
Your
What is the? Some people say the, and some people say the. Either is okay. Either is okay. So, some say the, and some say the. Either is okay. Both are correct. It doesn't matter. The or the. Same thing. Same thing. The teacher. Words on the board. Okay. What is this word? Right. That's context. You see, you knew that word by understanding the whole sentence. That's context. Context.
How to spell it? No.
Context. Context. Text means words. Same as words. Con means around. So context is what the whole sentence means. And you can sometimes understand the meaning of a single word just by grasping the meaning of the whole sentence. And the best way to learn how to do that is by reading a lot. Reading newspapers and listening, like on YouTube or videos that are on CNN or BBC, and that's what I mean by practice. And at first it will sound will not make much sense to you, but eventually it will. Eventually it will. Okay, but see how. Now, I could have, what other words could we use here that would still make that sentence make sense? The teacher read?
Yeah.
Yeah. The teacher reads words on the board. Okay?
Can you use like the teacher erasers? Can you use this word?
Teacher erases words. Okay? Every sentence in English will have a subject, a noun. That's the subject is who the sentence is about. And in every sentence we'll have a verb, and that's what the subject does. So English is a language that is based on grammar. In other words, the meaning of the language depends upon the order of the words. Whereas your language the meaning of the words depends upon the pitch of the word a lot of times. It's tonal instead of grammatical. So every sentence needs to have a subject, and it's going to have a verb. So, what other things do you want to know about me, so we get to know each other better?
I'm question about you.
Everyone make suggestions.
Do I want to? I'm sorry.
Sorry, teacher, what do you want me to?
Oh, what do I want to learn from you? Oh, I'll tell you what I'm having different. I've only been here 2 days, and I have no experience with Thai at all. One time I was teaching in Taiwan. In Taiwan, but all of my students, they all spoke English very well. It was at a university, so I didn't learn any Chinese at all. And just these last 2 days is the first time I've ever had any experience at all with Thai. So what I'm having difficulty with is pronouncing the sounds. And so like when I ask you what your names are, it takes me forever to get the pronunciation correctly, because you form sounds in your, the way you form sounds in your mouth with your tongue, by pushing air through your mouth. It's different than the way I have learned to use language. So when someone Teacher John, he tells me a few words to use, like in order to be to thank someone or to ask for something to market. He'll tell me the word, and I'll say it, and he'll say, no, that's not right, and I'll say it again. And then he says, no, that's not right, and I have to go over and over again. So you'll have to help me with the pronunciation, because that's what I have difficulty with. It's totally new to me.